Well, hello there. This is my review for chapter 1001 of One Piece. Sadly, I missed chapter 1000 because I haven't set up everything yet, but I have now. So, you probably don't know who I am because I literally just started my channel. My name's Onigiri, um, namesake of one of Zoro's attacks. And this is my review for chapter 1000. Probably uncut and very minimalistic editing, I assume. So let's just get through our points right away. Um, so we start off the chapter with Luffy after punching Kaido. Um, well, we should probably start with the cover page. So back in time a little bit, we have a art piece of Jinbei just chillaxing on some jellyfish in the sea. It's quite a beautiful, pretty picture. Um, So, Luffy punches Kaido. It damages him, which is interesting. Then we have a couple of interesting remarks from Zoro, Kid, um, Law, and Killer. Um, they don't know what the Haki is. So I assume that Zoro, Kid, and Killer cannot use Ryo, which is rather interesting and brings up a couple points of topics in terms of power scaling. Um, so It seems that to get past the iron balloon that both Big Mom and him and Kaido have, um, you need to use Ryo, which will damage both the outside and the inside. So that brings up later in the chapter, Kid and Law mentions that they will be using Kid will crush him with his metal controlling abilities, and Law will surgically go into his body and damage him from the inside. Now, it may be that they're imitating Ryo by Law you going in on the inside and Kid going on the outside, kind of like Ryo, as I used my example earlier. So we'll see how things go. If they're actually able to do any damage to him, because Law's ability seems very OP. From the fight with Virgo, it seems he was able to cut past his Haki. Though I don't think, just from the way it was drawn, Law's blade did not have Haki on it. So I don't think like Law's Haki was stronger than Virgo's Haki, therefore he was able to use his Devil Fruit ability. So I think Law's just broken, and I don't know how Oda's gonna nerf him. Perhaps he's gonna use the iron body Kaido has to perhaps the iron the Haki of the iron body is deflecting Law's power away. I'm not really sure. But it also brings up another interesting point, which I definitely wanted to mention, is that can Big Mom and Kaido use Ryo? Because I don't think Big Mom can use advanced observation Haki. So I find it rather interesting that some of these Yonko, which are heralded as probably one of the strongest characters in One Piece currently that we know of. So that's excluding Dragon and other characters because, well, we don't know their full capabilities. So, from the way Oda portrays them is that they can't use these advanced techniques, and I kind of wonder why. Perhaps it's just like the tiger and the dragon from Japanese mythology. The dragon is going so strong, it's complacent. It doesn't need to know these advanced techniques because it can just one shot everybody that comes against it. And from a panel further ahead, which we will get to, actually right next, where um, Kaido is comparing him to the likes of Odin, Rox, Shanks, Roger, and Whitebeard, because he is actually able to damage him. So, um, perhaps It's just that Kaido was always has been so strong. He's never saw a need to ever grow stronger by learning a new technique. Same goes for Big Mom with the observation Haki. She has katakuri, therefore she doesn't need to learn it herself. And I think that's rather interesting and may attribute to their downfall in this area. But enough of power scaling, let's get on with the chapter. Well, it's a very combat heavy chapter, so perhaps more power scaling. But I don't like to power scale too much, I like to keep it basic. Um, if anybody is watching this, perhaps go into the comments and say your opinion, what you think about the stuff portrayed. Keep it civilized, of course. Next, we have Kaido using Thunder Bagua or Raime Hake. I really like how they do it in the manga. I mean, not the manga, the anime. Um, he speed blitzes Luffy, which it is confirmed that it is a a speed blitz in this chapter. Um, so this is Kaido's perhaps testing the waters to see just how strong Luffy has grown. So Luffy does mention that he did see the future and saw that it was going to happen, but it was so fast that he was unable to properly dodge it. Which I think is whenever you have stuff like future sight in a series, this is a great way to nerf it in a way. Not nerf it, but add limitations because you may see something, but that doesn't mean you can do something about it. So, next, Big Mom comes in with Prometheus, and Zoro cuts him using Firefox Fire, which he mentions he stole from Kinemon. And I think that is very cool. Um, everybody should have a flaming sword in One Piece. It's just an Oda thing. Oda likes fire. Luffy can use fire, Sanji can use fire, and now Zoro can use fire. So that's great. Well, Zoro did use fire before, but that was a very situational thing with Well, Zoro has used fire before, but not in the new world, and it was only during one arc. So I think now we can for sure say that Zoro can use fire properly. So he cuts Prometheus. Um, Then Kaido goes in for an attack. Law shambles him out of the way of Kaido's attack and meeting up with the group where um looking through my notes. So Law mentions that he was always gonna transport the scabbards to safety, but Luffy had to go and order Law to do it. So he brings it up here that he's keeping his pride as a pirate captain and one of the supernova, that he isn't following his orders, and that he wants to make that very clear to Luffy. Um, a great homage in a way to the fact that he is a candidate for king, like the three captains that are here. They each have their own will and are seeking freedom in one form or another, but as we all know and probably expect, Luffy to become King of the Pirates. In fact, they have a little challenge here, so whoever tries to, whoever reacts first is the loser, as Prometheus shoots fireballs at them, and they all stand their ground and tank the attack, and Zoro gets mad at them for basically messing around during a fight. But this is a good thing, and I believe this was brought up by Joy Boy in his review, that this kind of evens out the playing field. It basically tells each of them that they instead of choosing one person to lead them in the battle that they're having against Kaido, that this way they all know that they're on even grounds and probably won't try to undermine each other during the fight, which will allow them to work together and will allow them to defeat these two Yonko. So Zoro notices that killer is Hitokiri Kamazo from his lab, and then they go to attack Kaido. Both of them do not do damage, but they leave like a little indent on Kaido's neck, which he just tanks. Um, so Zoro mentions that he has to use more power of Enma, putting more Haki into it to perhaps do more damage, and we'll see where this goes. Kaido so far has not commented on the fact that he has Enma, which I think is rather interesting. I expected that to come up between and Kaido and Zoro. So then Luffy goes Gear 4th, Kid goes Punk Rotten, and Law uses Rue, and they all go to attack him. Luffy goes in with King Kong gun. Kid goes in with Punk Vice, and Law crushes him with some spiked rocks, using tact. So they each mention their style, how they're gonna defeat Kaido here, saying that they all know that he has really tough skin, but Kid is thinking in very simple terms and thinks he'll just crush Kaido to death, and Law will go from the inside. Now, there's a certain thing I want to mention about this. The way it's drawn is it almost seems like Law is using Haki on the sharp rocks. This that would be a very useful tactic, and I think would work against Kaido. But I'm almost not sure in a way because, well, the way the shading is on the rocks, it implies the use of Haki, but that could also be deep shading. Looking at Kids, his Punk Vice also has very dark spots, and since Haki is drawn completely black, like some shadows are, it's hard to determine it on these rocks. But I think I'm gonna go with the fact that he's using Haki on these. So they do. I don't think they do very much damage to Kaido. And he emerges from the rubble in his dragon form, where Big Mom and Kaido are standing imposingly in this beautiful double page spread. I want this double page spread as my homepage to my computer. It is beautiful. So Big Mom and Kaido are standing imposingly over the five. I mean, um, saying that whoever wins this battle will be one step further, one step closer to becoming Pirate King. That they'll take everything the other has. So, there's an before we kind of finish off this review summary type thing, whatever it is. There's something I want to mention is one thing I brought up in a video. I commented on the video saying it was basically throwing out the idea that Zoro would fight Big Mom because Big Mom has sword. Zoro also has sword. And I would say in this battle, Big Mom's the second strongest, and Zoro always fights the second strongest. So I'm like, maybe, possibly that could work. Um, but somebody replied, and it was a tossed out, thrown out idea, random idea I just threw out there. I didn't expect it to, well, actually happen, but in a way it kind of did, and we may get like a Zoro versus Big Mom all the way fight. Not probably won't happen because there isn't anything built up between them. I think Zoro currently has more against Kaido than anybody else. Nobody but Luffy really has big beef with Big Mom. So that that may be different though. One of these characters' backstories may tie in big time to Big Mom. So who knows where the story will go? Oda is the master of twists and turns. And Big Mom seems to be a very big variable in this fight. And I don't just mean her size. So, I think that's all I wanted to say about this chapter. I think this is going to be one of the shorter ones because it was mainly a lot of action. That's why I went in a lot to the power scaling at the beginning of this video. But who knows where things will go, and who knows where my channel will go, and who knows what else may happen. So, that's all for now, folks.